Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long, here with my co-host and co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We're coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. And we have such a fun show for you. It's one that everyone, I think, can relate to. And one where you can find these things all over the world.
Right.
And really go and explore and have fun because, you know, who doesn't love a good movie set or a location that you've seen on the big screen, whether it's on TV or in movies? People love and have loved for many, many years seeing destinations in real life.
Right. Yes.
And they call it set jetting.
I didn't know it had an actual name, but it's something that you and I do, even if we don't intend to do it. I mean, for instance, I was recently in New York. I had some time on my hands. I was walking around and I ended up at the corner of the neighborhood where it's the exterior shots for the apartment building from Friends. And I was sending you pictures because there were so many people on this corner taking pictures. And I was like, why is everybody taking pictures? And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, this is the building from Friends. The show was not actually shot there. It's just the exterior shots. But like everyone else, I took a photo and I'm like, hey, I'm at the Friends building. It's just a fun thing when you have watched a show or a movie to kind of be a little bit a part of it. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, not too long ago, we took a trip we've talked about a few different times to Salem, Massachusetts, where in the town they used exterior shots of pretty famous locations for the movie Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
That is a Halloween staple here in the United States. And like I said, it's not a small thing. Like it is a global trend, I guess, if you will, more as far as like a niche in travel where people do. I think a more recent one is maybe the White Lotus.
Yes.
Show.
Yes.
It's a very popular show on HBO, and every season it's set somewhere differently, and it sets different locations up, and people all of a sudden go, I want to go to this beautiful tropical location.
Right. It highlights a different resort every season, and then that resort sees an uptick in reservations because people get to see firsthand how gorgeous this location is. And I think that's part of it too. You know, we see a lot of places that we wouldn't otherwise see. For instance, in Salem, like here in the U.S., we know about Salem, but until we saw this movie, like I didn't really have any context of it. And then you and I happened to be in Salem and I was like, I want to go by the Hocus Pocus house. So of course, like many other people, they all wanted to go see the Hocus Pocus house. So the street was actually blocked off and we couldn't drive. You had to walk up to it because so many people wanted to stop and take pictures.
Yeah. You know, film tourism generates over $66 billion every single year to the global economy. Skyscanner had a survey out that found that nearly 1 in 4 travelers in 2022 had chosen a destination based primarily on a film or a TV show.
Really?
And that ranges from Game of Thrones to, like you said, Friends to other locations that we are going to talk about. And some of the more famous ones, probably the most famous one to date, is set with a trilogy of films that some of you may have heard of. It's called Lord of the Rings.
Maybe a few people have heard of it.
When Peter Jackson filmed Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies across New Zealand, he not only showcased the country's just insanely beautiful geography, he effectively rebranded a lot of their tourism and everything else. So, you know, the New Zealand government, a lot of places, we've talked about this before, like with haunted history and different situations like that, they kind of shy away from it. They don't want to be primarily known for it. The New Zealand government doubled down on it.
Good for them.
They invested at the time over $200 million in tourism promoting tied directly to those films. Come see Hobbiton, as they call it. Come see, you know, that's the
so
real
cute.
place.
It's so cute.
You know, that was a temporary, what was meant to be a temporary set on a sheep farm.
Wow.
was rebuilt as a permanent attraction. And now it draws, get this, 500,000 visitors annually. And that number is only growing up. And we're talking about movies that started in the early 2000s, going on 20 years now.
Yeah, wow.
And the numbers are just increasing because people are so enthralled with that world, with those films.
I think it has multiple appeals. Like, one, you get to be a part of this series or this movie or something that you love. And for the everyday person, like, you want to be connected to these things, and you can't necessarily be on the show or in the movie, but now you can be on the set of it. You can see where it was filmed. Yeah. But also a lot of times, like in this case, it highlights a place that otherwise you might not have really thought about New Zealand or how beautiful the landscape is. And now you get to actually see it in person. Like, well, you get to see it on film, and then you're like, I want to see it in person because it just looks so gorgeous and so very different from my everyday life in the desert.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also look at just the different kind of niches and things that sprung off of that, like companies that are like, we'll take you on the journey from, you know, wherever your favorite little hobbit was from to Mount Doom, which is actually filmed there in a location, the Alpine Crossing they used for Mount Doom, and all of these different locations. You know, we'll take you on a step-by-step journey. And, you know, it's just amazing how they've leaned into it.
They've created businesses capitalizing on
absolutely. This. Generational businesses that have capitalized off of this. And it's far from the only one. I mean, so many people have stories about either films or TV shows or anything like that of any kind of merit that have stopped by maybe their small town and they filmed scenes in. We stopped by a coffee shop in LA that didn't seem like anything. It was right off the highway, and actually the neighborhood, you're kind of like, what is happening here?
Right.
But we stopped by in not knowing how many different scenes from movies and television shows over the past, I mean, name a decade, that have actually filmed inside this location that we saw pictures on the wall and we're just amazed. Yeah.
Currently it's called Clark's Diner, but it's changed names several times over the years. But they had photos all over the wall of different movie scenes that were shot inside this diner. And it was kind of cool because we didn't know this. We weren't expecting it. So when we went there, we were just looking for a place to have breakfast. Yeah. And it was a very pleasant surprise to find out this coffee shop had so much history to it. But sometimes we are seeking to find a specific location because we saw it in a movie or because we saw it on a TV show. So it's like, I think I really enjoy being pleasantly surprised, but sometimes we'll see something and we're like, we should go there. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They're like, oh, that looks awesome. I want to go there. Yeah.
And there are cities that are, I mean, New York, Los Angeles, even here in Vegas, you could throw a stone and literally find somewhere that was used in a movie. And so people, I believe, love being a part of the worlds that they've seen created on TV, in film, because a lot of these things mean so much to people. And we talk about Lord of the Rings and, I mean, all the Academy Awards it collected, but just all the things that have come from that over the years. You know, soon we'll get into Ghostbusters and the Truman Show and even scary films, you know, all of these things that mean so much to us, like growing up and how it becomes those kind of core memories to us.
Right.
And now when you finally have the money or whatever it is to travel around and see these places in real life, you're like, oh, this is... You know,
this is so cool.
It. And I'm so excited to be an adult for the first time in my life. I get to see where Frodo walked around and, you know, all those things. So we got a whole list of them. We want to get you through it. Set jetting here today on Unscaled Travel Show. Stay right here. We're going to have fun. Be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-host and co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We're in Sin City, Las Vegas, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. And you know what? I have to just brag on us real quick. We're thrilled to announce that we've been chosen as the best interview / podcast radio show winner at the IMERA 2025 Awards.
Yay, us.
Which is voted on by listeners and fans. So, hey, our first award.
I know, I'm proud of us.
I know. And now here's this show. It's going to be a good show. We're talking about set jetting. And that is the practice of following your favorite movies and films, TV shows, going to those locations, seeing them in real life, which sometimes can be a little disappointing, but oftentimes it fills you with such magic and joy. It really does, man. That you're just like, oh wow, I can't believe this is the exterior of Jerry's apartment from Seinfeld. And there, people are like, stop staring in my window like a real person lives here. But you know, we were talking about New Zealand and Lord of the Rings and what it did for their tourism and economy and everything, but some other places, we've mentioned New York and Philly. Both of these places, so many shows, so many movies have been filmed in these locations that it's hard to pinpoint one. So, right. But we did our best. New York, a place that I think you've seen.
Yes.
That Ghostbusters fans will know, and it's still standing, is the Hook and Ladder 8 in New York City, where the Ghostbusters have their headquarters in the original films, and it's iconic. And if you saw it, you'd be like, oh, there it is. And they actually lean into it a little bit too every Halloween, where they put up like themed decorations, and they have the Ghostbusters logo still painted on the sidewalk. And you can always see every single day crowds and crowds of people taking pictures, posing with it, and just having a good time. Yeah,
actually, when I was in New York, I was in a cab just on my way through New York going to Brooklyn, and we just happened to go by this. I didn't even realize it. And I saw the Ghostbuster sign was just hanging outside of it. So I think now they just have a sign out there with the ghost with the stop.
Yeah.
Like the Ghostbuster sign is just in front of it now. And I was like, oh, I so wish I wasn't on my way to a meeting, because I would love to stop and go in and actually see it. And I will not say that I was a huge Ghostbusters fan, but there's just something
sacrilege.
Well, like just something that it takes you back to your childhood. Well, for me, my childhood and seeing those movies and like, even though I wasn't a huge fan, just it's a memory. It's a bit of nostalgia. And like I wanted to go back and see it. But I think I'll do that with you the next time we're in New York.
Yeah. And there's also like, I mentioned Philadelphia as well. And go back even further to other people's childhoods that are not either of ours. But if you go to Philadelphia, the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art are almost more famous than the artwork inside, thanks to a small movie called Rocky.
Right, yes.
Starring one then unknown Sylvester Stallone. But now, almost 5 million people a year visit the museum, and a huge percentage of them, I think I saw the survey somewhere, like 80% of people now at least get their picture, if not a video, of themselves running up the stairs, just like Sylvester Stallone did in 1976. In fact, a few years later, a bronze Rocky statue was commissioned by Stallone for Rocky 3. It's been relocated a few times, but now it's there at the base of the steps, and people film themselves or take pictures going up the steps, running up the steps if you can. And it's one of those landmarks that now is, if you go to Philadelphia, it's a rite of passage.
Right.
You almost have to at this point.
I think what makes these different is that prior to these movies, these locations were not anything special. Like we had a museum, it was a firehouse, but like nobody was going to Philly to go like specifically, I'm going to Philly to see this museum, or I'm going to New York. I'm going to New York to see this firehouse. These movies made them famous. It's a little bit different than like say the Eiffel Tower, where it just draws tourists on its own every year. Yes, the Eiffel Tower's been in more movies and TV shows than we can even count, which have added to the popularity, but it's not popular because of its screen time. And these locations are, I would say. That's why these are a little bit special.
Yeah.
I mean, there's places we've been in New York and in San Francisco and LA that I think were kind of made more famous by certain movie scenes, but there's still locations that people were already going to.
Yeah, I think about locations like Lombard Street in San Francisco. And if you don't know the name just offhand, if we show you a picture of it, you'll know it. It's the iconic, very curvy street in San Francisco that's been filmed and so many times in so many different shows that it's almost, I forgot what producer it was. He did a recent interview recently saying that's one of the landmarks we now try to avoid because it's been in so many things. But you can't avoid it because that's part of San Francisco that people that are outside of the city, that's what they know.
Right.
It's like not showing the Statue of Liberty or something like that if you're doing something in New York.
Yeah.
And all of these things just kind of compound. And people from outside different areas, like the things that we know maybe about Australia or New Zealand or England, we know because of these movies and shows, and it's not always the best thing, but it's better than nothing.
Right.
I would say
like the Sydney Opera House.
Exactly.
Yes.
When people say Australia, we think of, and here in the United States, one of the first images that come to mind is Sydney Opera House.
And kangaroos. Yes.
It was in Finding Nemo. It was in all of these. It's been in everything. Anytime that a movie is released here that mentions Australia, outside of Mad Max, I think, it shows the Sydney Opera House because, that's what we know.
Which is a gorgeous building and
Absolutely.
draws people on its own. So, like, these movies maybe add to its appeal, but they are not kind of what made it iconic. But touching back on what you said earlier, one place in New York that I do think falls in here is Tom's Restaurant. From Seinfeld. Yeah. And Seinfeld, it's the exterior for Monk's Cafe. But if you actually watch the show, you can see where on the sign it says Tom's Restaurant.
Yeah, after a couple of seasons, they stopped trying to hide it.
Right.
And now it just plainly says Tom's, and they say Monk's in the show.
Yeah. I mean, I think people probably were going to the diner plenty before that. But then once Seinfeld was on air and people saw, like, this is from a hit TV show, it definitely boosted their diners, I guess.
The curiosity around it. I mean, you kind of go there to, I don't want to put it as far as like it's a bucket list thing, but it's definitely something that it resonates. You when people really love a show and it's on and forever, like they have that emotional connection to films and TV, and it becomes something very personal to people. That's why it's such a huge industry. Keep it right here, Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-host, Amy.
Hello.
Check us out, unscaledtravelshow.com, for all of our past episodes and interviews. Thank you so much for all of our newest subscribers on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where we do post these episodes after the fact, and all of our visitors and new subscribers on our YouTube channel, where we tell decidedly different stories. You might be surprised, but it's story first, travel stories. Like, well, I don't know how to describe it. Just check it out. on YouTube. We're talking about set jetting, and that is when people make their way around the world, travel around to follow or find the sets and things like that, locations for their favorite movies and TV shows, and some fun that people have there. You know, an interesting story real quick is that one of our really good friends, Trey Lacey, and his wife Patty, a couple of years ago, after the ending of a little show that ran for a couple of years named Breaking Bad. I don't know if anyone watched this show.
Maybe one or two.
One of the stars of the show, Aaron Paul, who played Jesse on the show, the show had just ended, and it was his very first project out of the gate after Breaking Bad, and he wanted to do more independent film to kind of break away from that character. He did a movie with Juliette Lewis, small-time star, Juliette Lewis. And they actually rented our friend's entire house and shot a good portion of the movie inside this house. And they came in and like painted the walls and put in new furniture and all kinds of stuff for the aesthetics for this house. How they came across Trey's house, I have no idea.
Right. I mean, there's
I still never heard that story.
No, I mean, there's people whose whole job is to scout locations for TV shows and movies, and the person in charge for this particular movie was just driving around the area and happened upon this lovely little neighborhood, and Trey's house sits at the end of a cul-de-sac. So it is kind of a great location.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I was there one day on set, and Juliette Lewis is, I don't think I was there when Aaron Paul was there, but Juliette Lewis was just sitting under a tree in the backyard having some lunch, and the crew, everyone was super nice. And like, it's one of those memories for him and his family. I think his daughter Jana even got a bit part in the movie and everything. So like these kind of things, whether it's film, TV, or whatever, they can pop up anywhere. Small towns, big cities like New York, and all over. But it does create that lasting memory, and it does kind of have those effects, because I think his neighbors and the entire town, one of which we grew up in, they still talk about it.
They do. But outside of that area, like, nobody really knows.
Sure.
I think that's where sometimes it's a little bit different, because sometimes a movie or a show becomes so big that it highlights this little town, little area that's never really been, in the spotlight, and now people flock to it.
Yeah.
And there are some towns, there are some locations that have become very popular because they've been used in movies or TV shows, or the town's just so lovely that people keep going back there to film movies and TV shows. And so a few towns have just, there's one that has now kind of unofficially known as the Hollywood of the South, because they've shot so many movies there.
What would that place be?
That is in Georgia. It's a town called Covington.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's over 160 different movies and TV shows have filmed inside Covington, Georgia, including Remember the Titans, Sweet Home Alabama, the TV show Vampire Diaries, so many more. But it is unofficially known as the Hollywood of the South because it has that quintessential like deep southern look to it.
You have a baby in a bar. Yeah. Classic line, right? I didn't know that. Covington, Georgia. Okay. So like one in particular, our friend John lives pretty close to an area. And like you said, it's grown in such popularity from the time it was first filmed, or when a major motion picture first filmed in the area, that now people know about it. Mm-hmm. But back then, it was kind of like a little
hidden secret.
Oh, a little secret, little hidden gem. All those horrible words that travel journalists like to use. But that would be The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey in 1998. It was filmed in a pastel-colored master plan community. At least part of it was. His home included. It served as the backdrop for this entire film, but it was filmed at a place called Seaside, Florida.
Which is gorgeous.
It is perfection. It literally is perfection, because I went to see John, who lives very close to Seaside, and we actually took those beach bicycles, just like a little pair of friends do, as you are one to do with your friends. And we bicycled around, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to see the house that was Jim Carrey's house in The Truman Show?" And of course I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." This little street, unassuming street, in this little beautiful town, and it like dead ends. And he was like, yeah, this is it. And once it's been painted since then, obviously. But once I stopped and looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is Truman's home.
This is Truman's home. Yeah.
From the Truman Show. And it's just on this little nothing street, but the entire town is immaculate. It's a beautiful place. And it's absolutely blown up since then.
Right.
And I can understand why.
Well, and one that I think everyone in the world knows this house. We have not personally seen it, but it gets so much attention is the exterior shots for the McAllister house from Home Alone.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows this
Every
house.
Christmas, it's played endlessly, and it should be. It's a wonderful Christmas movie. But Home Alone, yeah, I think everyone knows this real house that is in Chicago, and it's just it's exploded. I mean, and that was the 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just iconic with Christmas and with that movie and franchise, but also, and Christmas in general for people.
Even if you're going to look at rom-coms, the area of Notting Hill, the movie Notting Hill highlighted that area, and people go there just to see this one particular street and this one particular house because that's the house from the movie.
Absolutely. And people get upset. I've seen TikTok videos of people trying to take pictures at the houses on Notting Hill, and the homeowners open the door and they're like, what are you doing? And the people are upset at them.
Don't ruin my photo.
You interrupted my photo session on your porch. It's Unscaled Travel Show. Keep it right here. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Jeremy along here with my co-host, co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We're in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're talking about set jetting, which sounds like a fun word you just throw out there sometimes with your friends. I'm set jetting out. Because this word I think you're supposed to hear wrong. People think jet setting? No. Set jetting. That's where you're following your favorite movies and TV shows. So there's filming locations, and sometimes these can be real locations, fictitious towns, sometimes real towns, fictitious locations. And we're kind of, chatting about all these wonderful different places that have blown up because of different films or TV shows that have happened. And we were talking about Seaside, Florida with the Truman Show. But there was a little film in the mid 2000s, that was called Twilight. And it really set a new path for a place called Forks, Washington. It's beautiful in that it's kind of dreary, in that it has all of these beautiful forests and everything. But between 2008 and 2012, when these films were really at their height in popularity, tourism rose by over 600%.
Wow.
In a town with a population of less than 3,400 people.
It makes me wonder how the town was able to support that many tourists, because I imagine they weren't built for that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about hotel rooms and things like that, absolutely not. It's not built for that. But the town did see an opportunity, and they leaned into it. They have, to this day, they have themed tours, themed restaurants, merchandise in almost every store. I mean, that's kind of why you go. I mean, we saw the same thing when we went to Tombstone, Arizona.
Yes.
The famous movie from 1993, Tombstone, Kurt Russell with Doc Holliday with the late great Val Kilmer. It wasn't actually filmed in Tombstone.
Right.
It was filmed at a set that's a little bit outside of Tombstone, but every shop in the actual Tombstone city has posters and memorabilia and merchandise from the movie.
Yeah,
because people show up and they want, I want Doc Holliday. I want Your Huckleberry. I want all that stuff that they do.
And yes, the stuff was based on real things that happened, but it happened in such a short period of time in that town's history. But it's the movie that really made people like,
sure,
oh yeah, the OK Corral. I want to go watch a reenactment of what happened there, and I want to get a T-shirt, and I'm going to buy a mug and get a magnet.
Yeah,
I mean, Tombstone is. I mean, I don't want to say it's a tourist trap, but they have just capitalized on their fame from the movie. Yes,
and I mean, Forks, Washington, kind of the same thing. I mean, I want to go and see where like a 800-year-old vampire that is for some reason still going to high school.
What else is he supposed to do?
Fell in love with a 16-year-old girl. I want to see that up close and personal. But you mentioned Covington, Georgia. That's the Hollywood of the South. That's a different show. As the Hollywood of the South. But also, I mean, places that are even a little bit bigger. Charleston, in South Carolina. Fans of The Notebook, cited often. They go to the Boone Hall Plantation. They go to the Cypress Gardens where these like scenes were filmed where Ryan Gosling is asking he's so done with this chick. And he's just like, what do you want? And she's just like, oh, no. All of those scenes were filmed at locations that people find that are near and dear to their hearts now. So these small places have really turned into, and if they lean into it, turned into something bigger.
Well, I think the best example of not only a city, but a country leaning into movie locations is Great Britain leaning into Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
On visitbritain.com, there is actually a page, Visit Harry Potter Filming Locations. And they go into all the most famous locations, give you information, links. They were like, yes, it was shot here. We want you to go see these places. They have not turned their back on it. They're not ashamed of it. They are very proud that this movie was shot in their country and the surrounding countries, even Wales and not just England, but Wales and Scotland too. And all the different really popular locations are highlighted here, and you can get so much information. So if you are a huge Harry Potter fan and you want to go see where it was shot or even the places that it was kind of inspired by, you can go to visitbritain.com and they have a trip planned for you right there.
Yeah. I mean, I was never the biggest Harry Potter fan. I think when our kids were young. So like I was already just, out of that phase, but a lot of people still see it. And now they have the reboot that's coming for HBO. And so places like King's Cross Station that, where the Hogwarts Express departs from platform 9 and 3/4 or something like that.
9 3/4.
You have kids from all over the world that go to King's Cross Station and now run face first into a brick wall trying to get to Hogwarts.
Our daughter would love this.
She absolutely would. And so would so many millions of people. And I mean, they have the Warner Brothers studio tour in London, where a lot of it was shot on a studio tour. And we've been to the Warner Brothers studio a lot in Los Angeles that we'll get to and we'll kind of talk about and everything. But they do have that part on, I believe, the Hogwarts Express when they're first going.
Yes.
And they have the beautiful shots of the train on the huge viaducts and things like that now people camp out for to get I think they actually have a Hogwarts Express train.
They do. You can recreate
it. And if you have recreated it, then you can go to the vantage point to take the photos and the videos of the actual Hogwarts Express going down. And it has turned into such a big business and economy in itself that it's just like people have set this destination into their minds.
Well, it just makes sense. It makes sense for the city and the country and the locations to say, we're going to capitalize on this too. I mean, why wouldn't you? I
don't
don't
see why
understand the towns that are like, no, we don't promote that movie was filmed here.
Old fuddy-duddies. Keep it right here on Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Check us out online, unscaledtravelshow.com. We're now an award-winning show. How scary is that thought? I'm here with my co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We're in beautiful Sin City, Las Vegas. Happy to be beaming these airwaves and thoughts to you. This new technology called radio. We're in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're talking about set jetting, where you go around, hey man, you got a favorite show? Mm-hmm. Well, it's got to be filmed somewhere. So you can find these locations and set your whole vacation to that schedule. In fact, 1 in 4 people in the latest Skyscanner survey said that they set their vacations and trips in mind with a filming location or a destination for either a TV show or movie at the heart of where they want to go, what they want to see.
Well, I think some people may also be like us. Like, you pick a place and then you kind of start doing research and you find out, oh, this movie that I really liked, a scene was shot there, or they used this exterior. And then you're like, well, let's just add that into our trip. So maybe you're not necessarily going there because of that location, but it's an added excursion while you're there.
It is fun. It is like a fun little piece of nostalgia or, I don't know, trivia that you can add to your trip. We mentioned before about our trip to Los Angeles recently. We took the Warner Brothers studio tour in Burbank. We just mentioned Warner Brothers in the UK and how they cater more toward Harry Potter. Why wouldn't they? It's a huge intellectual property. So like when we went to Warner Brothers studio in Burbank, it had a little bit of Harry Potter, but the one next to Hollywood has been a part of so many huge, not only TV shows, but movies that make it like, if you are a fan of set jetting, you have to go there.
Right.
It's one of these things I highly recommend.
So many things have been shot there. Like, we can't even name them all, but some popular TV shows: Friends, Gilmore Girls, Pretty Little Liars, ER, Big Bang Theory, or not. Yeah, Big Bang and Young Sheldon. Currently, they're shooting Abbott Elementary, All American. But then movies have been shot there. Some very famous scenes from Jurassic Park. George of the Jungle? They were naming so many movies. I can't even.
They have one of the most famous alleyways in the world. It's been in ER. It's been in Spider-Man, the original one, the good one with Topher Grace.
Maguire.
Sorry, not Topher Grace. He's in the third one.
Yes.
But that's terrible. Tobey Maguire,
the famous Upside Down Kiss in the Rain was shot in this
alleyway. Batman. All kinds. Prince.
Yes.
I think
Prince's album cover was shot
Prince's album cover was shot in this one alleyway. Friends, I mentioned that. They use it very often.
Even going way back, I want to say The Music Man was shot there. Like, way back when. So
many. And I know it's a little bit different because it's not like on location or whatever in a different city. But the tours are so much fun because of the history behind them. You mentioned the iconic shows. And these are shows that have ran for years and years and years that all end up in kind of this one place. And a little bit of paint, a little bit of plaster, a change in a sign, and all of a sudden it has a totally different look. And if you shoot it from different angles, you have a totally different feel.
Well, and I'll even say, I don't know if any of you have watched the newer Hulu series, Paradise, but I was watching it a few weeks ago, and I instantly recognized one of the streets from this lot. When he's running down the street in the first episode, it is on this lot. It is literally in front of Lorelai's house from Gilmore Girls.
Which is crazy. It's always crazy to me. Like, I wasn't a Gilmore Girls fan. I didn't watch it regularly, but I knew about the show. It was pretty big in its original run. And that they were like basically roommates because the front of Lorelai's house was the back of
Suki's house.
Suki's house, or the front of her house was the back of Lorelai's house.
It was
or something.
Basically a house with two fronts.
Yeah. And so they share this house, and so they shot just the different scenes and everything, which is crazy. And we've gone on record talking about Philly and New York, how every place there is a movie scene, right? Home Alone 2, we mentioned Home Alone, the original, and the home in Chicago, but the Plaza Hotel.
It's been in so many movies.
It's been in so many movies.
I can probably name 5 movies right now it's been in, and I won't go into it, but it's one of those, I think people were going to the Plaza Hotel plenty without the attention, but once you've seen it in a movie that you love, you're like, oh, I want to go check it out. I want to go have tea at the Plaza Hotel.
And I think because these locations work and they are so iconic and people recognize them and they like it, it's a good feeling. It's a nostalgia feeling, a good emotional feeling, right? That's why people keep going back and filming in the same locations. And it's almost an homage to films of the past or TV shows of the past. Yeah. The Plaza Hotel, Katz's Deli. Yeah. When Harry Met Sally. That famous scene. Won't reenact it.
I was just in New York, right in front of Katz's Deli, and I couldn't see the sign, but I sent you a photo. There were people lined up down the street for over like 2 blocks, and the line curved around, and I was like, what is going on? I could only see that it said deli. When I got closer, I was like, oh, it's Katz's Deli. Yeah. All these people want to go eat.
Yeah, they want to, and the food's good.
Yeah.
Also, the food has to be good.
Right.
But Bethesda Terrace, you know that from Avengers and John Wick. Washington Square Park, which is famous by itself, but I Am Legend, and all of, I mean, so many, and even places like the New York Natural History Museum.
I was reading after the movie Night at the Museum came out.
Yeah, and, with Ben Stiller.
Yes,
right?
in the early 2000s.
Robin Williams.
Yes. Their tickets increased over 20% just immediately because people wanted to go in.
And they wanted to see it and be a part of it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And even give some love to our hometown here. We film in we record in Las Vegas. We live in Las Vegas. It's equally as cinematic. Now with the neon lights in the casinos, there is a certain aesthetic that we can't get that other locations can. And also ones that you can only do here because everyone knows Las Vegas. You look at classic movies like Casino. With Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, extensively shot inside the old strip hotels. Newer movies like The Hangover,
Ocean's 11,
Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
If you talk to the people at Caesar's Palace and how many people still walk into Caesar's Palace, be like, oh, is this place where Caesar lives because of The Hangover? Absolutely, they still do it. Ocean's 11, Brad Pitt and what's his name, George Clooney. So many Vegas landmarks, even films like Godzilla.
I was just about to say, how many times has Vegas been blown up in a movie?
How many times? Why do we always get blown up? Us in
Mothra
New York
comes out of a mountain cave somewhere and just destroys the city.
People look at New York and Las Vegas and they're like, you know what would be good? If we just blew these cities up.
I love it, though.
Films and videos. In fact, we just had a big star on the Strip, and they usually shoot these things at night, but a lot of pop stars and people like that shoot their music videos on the Strip or at Fremont Strip downtown, Fremont Street, downtown late at night. You often find crews out there at 3 a.m.
Yes.
Guys like The Weeknd shot one of his famous videos. I think Shining Lights, Blinding Lights, whatever it's called. Not a fan, but he shot a.
He's joking. He's a fan.
Really not. But not Sabrina Carpenter, but I think one of the young ladies from Blackpink, the Korean sensation. They just shot a video down here, so it's always kind of in use.
We were even downtown a few months ago and we saw, I'm assuming, an indie movie being filmed. I don't know if you remember when we went to that little farmer's market and there was on the side street, they were filming a scene. We were like, oh, let's stand here and watch it for a few minutes.
Yeah, we did. And we were just like, oh, wow. I wonder what this is going to end up being.
Right.
I mean, I was in Vegas when they shot the original Hangover and I was like, what's The Hangover? I've never heard of this movie. It's amazing, right? Oh, this is such a fun topic. We hope you're having fun too. Keep it right here on Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
I love our music. It's Unscaled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-host and co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We're having a fun time, man. This is such a great topic. I love talking about set jetting and just traveling around, seeing the places that you only see in the movies. You got to be in the pictures, the big pictures, kid. All of that stuff, man. And, with everything, and because we are now an award-winning
How many times
program,
are you going to say it?
we have to, as many times as it takes, we have to shine a light on some of the fandom fatigue and a little bit of, the backlash of filming such popular programs in such little areas sometimes and specific locations that fans aren't always the most respectful of locations or peoples or anything else. So you kind of have to shine a light on it and remind people gently, stop being an idiot.
I think we touched on it earlier with the Notting Hill house. And how you said you've seen social medias where people are actually on someone's doorstep and they get mad when that person opens the door.
Absolutely.
This is someone's home. They live here.
Yeah.
So you're not welcome to take over their front porch.
I mentioned the Truman Show house in Seaside, Florida. They do have signs out front, like no trespassing. Do not walk up to the front doors and take pictures.
Isn't there a sign that says, yes, this is the Truman house. Please respect our privacy
Yeah,
or
at one
something
point
like
they
that?
had that on there. The same with places like in New York, the Sex and the City house, the Brownstone, that is at 66 Perry Street.
Just call it out.
I'm going to go ahead and give you the location.
Which I'll tell you is just a few blocks from the Friends building.
Yeah, it's just a few blocks away, right? Because it's an iconic part of the city. And the show was very popular in all the movies. But the building owner, multiple building owners, it's changed hands over the years, right? They've all placed chains and signs that say, do not sit on the steps because real people live here. And people continuously are like, oh, that sign doesn't apply to me.
Right.
Because I traveled all this way and now I have an ownership of this particular building. And so they get out there, the cops get called or they get griped out and people are offended that they aren't allowed to do the thing that they wanted to do.
Right.
And you have to be respectful.
I think it's a different circumstance when the location is someone's private residence or an actual working business that is not necessarily open to the public.
Yeah.
You have to respect the privacy of those people. It's a little bit different when it's a restaurant and you can go sit and eat and they are benefiting from you.
Financially.
Yes, from you being there. But when this is someone's home, they don't want you hanging out on their porch.
No. I mean, we mentioned the house from Home Alone and that there have been several owners now. And every time during the holidays, people go, hey, you know what? I have a great idea, a totally original idea since the 80s. Let's go to the house and take pictures on someone's private property and just really knock on the door. And it's not only people just taking pictures on the property. It's people knocking on the doors. Some people want to go inside. Heck, we've had people in our front yard ask us if they can come use our bathroom.
Yeah.
And that's just during Halloween and nothing's been shot at our home. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So people can step over the line. The Goonies house in Astoria, Oregon. The Goonies is a beloved movie, right? But they had to close it down in 2015. The owner of it did because fans continuously ignored requests that people, legitimate requests of just saying, hey, just stay off our front porch. You can take pictures from the street. You can do all of that. We don't mind, but don't come on our front porch. Don't knock on our door. And fans continuously go, I don't care. I'm going to go on your front porch and knock on your door.
It's crazy that a movie, how many decades old now, is still, the location is still garnering that much interest.
Yeah, we mentioned, we went to the homes in Salem that were used just for exteriors. The interior shots were shot on a studio, in a studio setting, but like the homes, like the Ropes mansion and places like that, we went there in October in the height of haunted happenings for Salem, and there were mobs of people. Now, during that time, I think they shut the mansion down. They shut that house down.
They did.
And people are allowed in small groups to go tour the properties, and then you can buy tickets and go to the inside. But that is a money-making opportunity. Like, someone's not there at that moment.
But Max's house, do you remember they had the cones lined up, so you couldn't drive in front of it. Yes. You had to park and walk. But even then, like, you really couldn't go up to the porch. You could stay on the street and take photos. But this is a neighborhood. People live here. Someone lives right there, and you are blocking their way to work in the mornings.
Yeah. And like newer shows that are just extremely popular, like Yellowstone.
Yes.
Even in places like Montana that don't have huge populations compared to places like New York and things like that, are actually seeing a bit of a problem with it.
Yeah. Montana said that they had over 2 million visitors in 2021 who all said that they were there because the show Yellowstone inspired them to come to Montana.
Yeah.
And most of these people ended up going to the national parks in the area, which is great. I love our national parks, but the national parks were not built to see that many people in such a short time. And it has led to what we're seeing now in a lot of our national parks, where there's like a ticketing system, or you have to book sort of a timed entry because they cannot accommodate 2 million tourists at a time.
Yeah, just a huge influx. There are places like in Croatia where they filmed a lot of like Game of Thrones locations, filming, King's Landing and different things like that are iconic, but they are trying to figure out a way to ease crowds from like smaller areas into like overflow areas. Like, come see this. Like, this scene was shot here. We're seeing it more in Japan. They're trying to make something good out of the over tourism that they're seeing in places like Tokyo and Osaka and Kyoto. That the anime creators, anime is super popular.
Yes.
If you don't know, your kids are probably watching
yes.
it. If you're listening to this show, your kids are probably watching
yes,
it, or your grandkids.
Sure.
But they're taking a lot of these anime places and leaning into them in these smaller towns that could use the influx of tourism and cosplay events and different things like that. And these smaller towns that were kind of on the verge of dying out a little bit are seeing a boon as far as tourism and money and those dollars that are essential, and they love it.
Right.
And it's taking people away from the huge centers and spreading them out a little bit and going, hey, this is still something popular. Places like or shows like Lucky Star and Girls und Panzer and things like that are getting these boosts away from these already over trafficked places to spread out the dollars a little more.
I think it's great. I mean, as long as the town itself is on board with it, I think it's great. It allows other places to shine. And as a tourist, you go to these places because you want to see it. But if there's a million other people standing there with you, it's not a great experience. This kind of allows you to really be immersed in the movie set, in the show set, or even, an anime that's inspired by a certain shrine or something. Like, you can really be a part of it without being in a crush of people.
Yeah.
Because that takes away from it a little bit. It makes it a tourist spot, and it doesn't feel like I'm in the show. It feels like I'm here with 500 other people who all woke up at 4:00 in the morning so we could be the first ones in the door.
Yeah.
Which we've done before.
The Trevi Fountains in Rome, which has been around for so many years and had so many countless movies and TV shows and everything. So, I mean, when it's unchecked, it can really suffocate neighborhoods and places. But if it's done respectfully and done with a little bit of, understanding that if it's not like a business that is earning money from you visiting, you need to be a little imagine someone just walking up to your home. You'd probably be like, what the heck are you doing here? These people are the same way.
Right.
A lot of the times. Okay. So it can bring that economic hope to smaller, struggling towns. Because I think in my heart that the solution isn't to stop visiting locations. It's to travel smarter, share space, and really just be human to people and understand that sometimes these people are just trying to get to work.
Right.
Like you said earlier, they're just trying to go to the market to get some diapers and something else, man. Anyway, set jetting. We hope you had fun. We had a ton of fun talking to you about it. Keep it
on the award-winning Unscaled Travel Show.
We'll see you next time.